You know, a lot of us are like Uriah. I was reading 2 Samuel 11 in the Bible. It's more of a popular story, but the gist of it is read it yourself. It's about 27 or 28 verses. I'm not exactly sure, but it's 2 Samuel 11. The gist of it is that King David, they're out on a campaign, a war campaign, and one of his elite soldiers, his name is Uriah. They're out, fighting the war, winning the war. And King David stays behind, off of the front lines one night, and he sees this woman, and he asks about who she is, and he finds out from one of his messengers, servants, that she's the wife of Uriah. And he goes ahead and he sleeps with her anyway, and her name's Bathsheba. And it's not really her fault, What are you going to do in that situation? It's not really her fault. It turns out, though, that she becomes pregnant from this encounter that they had. And so David begins to try to move chess pieces around. He has a messenger, I think his name is Joab. And he sends for Uriah, and he tries to get Uriah to sleep with his wife, and he tries to get him drunk so he sleeps with his wife, to cover up the affair that he had. And eventually, he decides that he sends Joab, the messenger, up to the front line and tells him to make sure that Uriah is in the front of the hottest battle and make sure he falls. So he does. Even his own soldiers left him out there to die. So more or less everybody sold him out. Is the story. Now, a lot of us these days have a lot to say because we have freedom of speech in America. And a lot of us feel like, we're being done wrong. And the reason I read the Bible now is because I mess up all the time. I sin. I do things that are bad. I do. I'm definitely not a perfect person. But I don't want to be the person that makes that decision that David did. See, Bathsheba got drawn into it. She got drawn into the sin because she didn't have a choice. She was bathing, and the king saw her, and he wanted to be with her. What's she going to do? And after she became pregnant, David took her as a wife. What's she going to do? Her husband's dead, right? David didn't have to do any of this. And Uriah was just a loyal soldier. He didn't want to sleep with his wife when David told him to come home and go to your house and be drunk, because he was focused on the front line and his men. He was staying on his purpose. That's what a lot of people say. He was focused on his purpose, doing what he had to do. That's the interesting thing about it is, like, I know a lot of people go through this. I've been going through it a lot too. Where you feel like people are like watching you, like wondering what you're doing. What are you up to? And the answer is, I'm doing what God told me to do. There's so many people like David who are just, hey man, I'm just going to mess everybody's life up. You know what I mean? His one sin messed everybody's life up. Bathsheba lost her husband. Now she got a baby with a person that she's not supposed to be with. And she has the shame of that. The child died too. God's orders. He's born in sin, right? He loses one of his elite soldiers because he orders them to die because of his F up, right? So why would you want to be that person? And that goes on every day in the world that we live in. The end of that passage explains how the thing that David had done displeased the Lord. Now, in the modern world, we're just going to use it as a metaphor now. The Lord could be God himself. It could be a law enforcement agency. It could be anything you want it to be. But David didn't have to do that. And he created all this sin for all these people because they were forced into it. He ordered Joab to make sure that Uriah got murdered, basically. He ordered his men to back off him in the middle of battle. Your own men sold you out. So a lot of us go through the same thing. I'm just speaking from my experience, but a lot of us go through the same thing. There's a lot of things that happen to us in our lives and we get sold out, But Uriah doesn't get the credit. He stayed on his purpose. He was a warrior. He was a soldier. He didn't want to come home and get drunk and sleep with his wife. He was doing his job. He was doing what he was supposed to do, doing it well. And everybody sold him out. So my question is to you, or my statement is, when everybody sells you out in your life, which may happen to you, happens in the Bible, it's just an example. You're supposed to use it as a metaphor and superimpose it on your own life. You know what you do? You stay on your purpose. Uriah was a soldier. He was going to die in war anyway. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to be out there. He wanted to be out there with the men. He wanted to fulfill his purpose. Maybe that's what God wanted him to do with his life. And so when we get off of our purpose and we end up living a life that we're not supposed to live, where all this sin comes in and all these mistakes and all these problems, just messes it up for everybody. So when people ask me, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? It's because of what I'm supposed to do. And you're supposed to do what you're supposed to do. We have our time here. We all have our mission. You can't really worry about who sells you out, who tries to make your life harder and mess it up in the background. What mistake someone makes. And when they make a mistake, they create a pile more sin trying to cover it up or get rid of you. But that's the way the world is. So you just keep going. That's what you do. You read the Bible, you keep the faith, you get stronger, and you keep going. You don't worry about that. You let God work that out. Because as you can see from that passage, everybody got dragged into this big cauldron of sin. Because David felt like he had lust one night. He was lustful. He couldn't control his urges. And all these things happened because of it. Our lives are the same way. There's all these things that happen we can't control. We have to pay our bills. We have to insure our vehicles and our homes and make sure our children are okay. And you have to take care of your health. There's all these things. And somewhere along the line there, you all know, somebody cheated, somebody stabbed somebody in the back, somebody covered something up, Shout out to law enforcement. It's your difficult job to figure out who these people are, And you got to call it like you see it. I always like Uriah because he stuck to what he had to do. Even though he was basically doomed. But he did what he had to do. He stuck to it. Even when you don't see a way out. He died in battle. Yep. So you just keep going forward. That's the answer. When people are doing things behind your back that you can't see, covering up, laughing, snickering, doing documents and paperwork, to make sure that you get screwed over. Yeah, it happens to all of us. It just doesn't happen to me. You see it every day. People arguing, money, losing money, extra fees, people hiding money, properties, lawyers, covering stuff up. It happens all the time. It's the real world. It's right there in the Bible. It's just letting you know. One person's decision just creates all these problems. And all you can do is keep going. So if you feel like you're Uriah, you just keep fighting. Doesn't mean you're going to die in battle. It means that you need to keep going. And when you keep going, God will present the answer at the right time. But you can't change David's decision. Bathsheba didn't really have much of a choice. So what can you do? You stay on your mission. And you be the best, hardest working, honest, loyal fighter, soldier that you can be in your life. And you keep pushing forward. And you let God fight the battles that you can't see for you. Have a wonderful day. I hope it doesn't rain. I'll catch up with you real soon. See you later.